Hello, everyone. Thank you again for joining us today on this episode of the Good Side podcast. Please join us every week as we talk about current events, relationship issues, and just about anything that concerns our life. I have to look at this remote. Sorry, guys. We aim to highlight the positivity in the world and the goodness of God, and of course, the goodness in people. So, whether it's a story, a person, or a situation, there's always some good to be found. That's it. Okay. Good. Hello, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. Sorry, I'm gonna get better with reading this script because it used to be MC reading the script for me when we start, and now it's me. So, when you sometimes you get you depend on a person that you're with because oh, he will always do that, and then all of a sudden you ended up having to do it, and you're like, okay. What I had to do, right? So, but anyway, very happy to be here. Thank you, Lord, for another day that we get to talk about your goodness, right? And I want to welcome Miss Suzy again, joining me today. Miss Suzy, say hi to our listeners.
Hello. And yes, I'm excited about the good news, the good day, the good side of being able to share with you, not only share with you, but all of us become a part of each other. I think that that's something that has been lacking. When you think about the political arena and all of these different things that are going on, there's division. And we come to bring everybody together and let you know that it's not as bad as it seems. It's up to us to make the change, to shift things. So we were talking about focus and vision.
Focus and vision,
And
yes.
once everybody gets their focus, or if we can just draw them in for the focus, bring the focus to you, look at the change from last week, from
week,
us
yeah.
speaking. And even the Word of God says, without a vision, the people perish.
Yes.
And with all the things that are going on, we want to reframe the vision again. We want to shift the atmosphere,
Yes.
and bring everybody back into a nice focus. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really just all it takes is just a small effort from one person. And I used to think like voting, since we're talking about elections,
Right.
I used to think like what would my vote make? Would it make a difference if I do or I don't, right? Because I'm thinking I'm one out of a million voters, right? But then I imagine it's like, okay, well, if another person is thinking the same way as I am, and another person thinking the same I am, what if there's like 500,000 of us
Exactly.
thinking about the same thing? Like, oh, my one vote won't count, right? So that's how I kind of shifted my mindset. Because as I got older and I got more mature and more experiences under my belt, now things are there's a lot of things that's important to me in my life now that I want to be put in place. And for that to happen, of course, it has to be, certain
Exactly.
people, like all the way up to the president of our country. So that's what made me just, my vote counts. No matter
Yes.
what, my vote counts.
And in that, just kind of piggybacking on what
Yeah.
you're saying, if you think about it this way, first of all, we're talking about shifting perceptions, the mindset. You shifted one thing. You shifted. You have a son now. What kind of future are we leaving to our kids?
Yes.
But the other part of that is when you start thinking about it, you said, what about your vote if you don't vote? Everybody out there, please hear me. If you don't vote, if you don't literally go and put your stamp of approval or disapproval on something, you're still voting.
Oh, right.
Because
Yeah,
if
of course.
you're not
Yeah.
you're not present,
Yes.
if you have not made yourself and your
Yes.
opinion
Yes.
count of if you do or don't vote, you still vote.
You still vote.
You
Yeah.
still went in there and you stamped the approval of whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. So here in America, outside of America, in every one of your city, states, and countries, your vote counts because without voting, it counts as a nil,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah. As
So
in
then you
nothing,
have
yeah.
no reason to complain about what's going on.
What's going on exactly?
Because with you not having yourself present or
Mm-hmm.
putting yourself in the position that you made a decision,
Mm-hmm.
your personal decision,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
then you showed up as nil, nothing,
Right. Yeah.
nothing.
It's nothing. Yeah.
And then what are you doing to your children? You're
Mm-hmm.
teaching them. You're nothing,
Yeah.
you know. And a lot of times, I think sometimes too, it comes from the way we're raised.
Yes.
Um, Old school.
Mm-hmm.
If you think of the days of my culture,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure in your culture,
Mm-hmm.
we weren't able to vote. We weren't
No.
able to make decisions. They told us what to do. And then you think about, okay, then let's bring it to date. You
Mm-hmm.
grew up in your mother's home. They told you what to do, how
Mm-hmm.
to do, when to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And you really didn't have an opinion. You had an opinion,
Mm-hmm.
but
It doesn't
you
count.
shut up. It doesn't count.
Yeah. Exactly.
So now that we're an adult
Mm-hmm.
or 18 and over,
Mm-hmm.
all of that is out the window. You get to make a choice,
Mm-hmm.
good, better, and different.
Mm-hmm.
At least you took the time to make a choice.
To make a choice.
Yeah. Shift the atmosphere in
Right.
your mindset. Shift it. You
Right.
got to shift it,
Yeah.
you know, because you're important.
Mm-hmm.
Your decisions are important.
Mm-hmm.
Make one, or your decision is you don't exist.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
hard. Yeah.
And it comes down to also um just look at how God gave us free will.
Yes.
Yeah, just the word free will,
Yeah.
right? So it means that he created us to have a life of choices. So we all, there's always a choice to be made,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
we always talk about, our show is called Good Side. So we
Right.
always talk about the good and the bad, right?
Mhm.
So what's your decision? What's your choice? You want to be good or you want to be bad?
That's right.
Right?
And you know what, too? If you think about it, you just brought that up
Mm-hmm.
about in the Old Testament,
Mm-hmm.
even the Word of God shifted, and we're living in the New Testament.
Mm-hmm.
So if God decided that the old wasn't out the window,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like even with when you think about older people,
Mm-hmm.
how really, with me, especially working with seniors,
Yes.
and you working in the medical field, a lot of people actually disregard the senior. But the wisdom that they carry
Mm-hmm.
should be the golden bag that we should carry into the future, that we're supposed to pass down
Mm-hmm.
to our children and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So the Old Testament means that was our start.
Yes.
And after Jesus died on the cross, then he brought us into the newness,
Mm-hmm.
which is the New Testament.
Right.
It didn't disregard or X out the Old Testament,
Mm-hmm.
but what he did is he made the next move,
Mm-hmm.
shift their perception, shift the mindset,
Mm-hmm.
and he gave us the New Testament that he said, okay, some of the things that we did in the Old Testament, we're going to give you a little more of a leeway.
Right.
So when we talk about everything in our lives, again, we're talking about focus,
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about vision,
Mm-hmm.
and our last show we talked about change.
Change. Yeah.
Okay, if we don't make the shift from the old, we'll use the Old Testament
Mm-hmm.
to the New Testament,
Mm-hmm.
then go back. I mean, even when you think about it,
Mm-hmm.
and in the Word of God it says that if you're gonna live in the Old Testament, you go according to everything in the Old Testament.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
get rid of the New Testament.
Right.
Okay,
Which you can't.
You can. Well, you can. There are people that still live in
Oh,
the
true.
Old Testament only.
Only. Yeah.
They disregard the New Testament, which gives us it gives us a little gives us a nuance,
Right.
or it gives us a little leeway
Right.
to do better than we did yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's one of my biggest prayers. Lord,
Mm-hmm.
let me be better in a few minutes than I was yesterday or a few minutes ago. And again, if we have that as a focus,
Mm-hmm.
that everything is new every day we should wake up.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my prayers too.
Yes.
Lord, show me how to best represent.
Yes.
And I remember one word God gave me that will stand every second of the day. He said, when you get up, as soon as your feet hit the ground, walk to the window, find the joy.
Mm-hmm.
If it's just a bird
Mm-hmm.
or the rain or the trees that rustle, that's New Testament.
Yeah.
That's the newness of the
The
day.
newness of the day.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And it's like like I said, free will. Like God created us with to have free will. He
Yes.
also created us to be part of a community. So the community, not necessarily community like outside your home. Community can also be within the home, and it's like each and every one of us has this unwritten obligation to each other.
Exactly.
Like, so whoever is older,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you've gotten more experience like ahead of us,
Mm-hmm.
it's your obligation to teach the next coming up generation how it should be, what it should be, what is good, and what is, how to be good in the community, in the
Mm-hmm.
society, right? So then it's your turn, and then you teach it to your kids, and you
Mm-hmm.
teach it, so that's how I've been looking at this whole, my this whole life that we have. it's
Yeah.
it's about that. It's like, and it's kind of like a, kind of like a cycle, and which reminds me, because this morning I was getting my son ready. So we woke up, and I was getting him ready for the day, right? And last night I had to give him a shower because his feet was black as this table. He was running around the house. We're doing a lot of things in my parents' house, and he was running around the house with no slippers on. So he caught all of the dust and everything. So the bottom of his feet was all black. And then he want to
Get
lay on the bed.
yeah, the
I'm
newness
like,
of the
the
sheets.
newness of the sheet. And I told him, like, Jacob, nope, we're not gonna lay on the bed, because you're gonna bring all of that germs into the bed. We gotta wash you down, right? So I washed him down. We went to bed, right? This morning we were talking about that last night, right? And I said to him, like, I need you to be wearing your slippers today. Okay, if you're gonna be running around the house, grandpa's house, you gotta wear your shoes today, your slippers today.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, okay, mom. And he goes, I said, and but what if grandpa said it's okay, I can run around the house if I want to with no shoes on. And then, because I watched him last night, because he was so relaxed, so comfortable. He was laying on the couch with his dirty feet
Yeah.
up on, put his feet
On the couch.
on the couch and on the lap of my stepdad, right?
Yeah.
So he was just chilling,
Right.
but his feet was dirty. So anyway, the point is, I was telling him is this: just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right.
That's what I told him.
Right.
And is it right to put dirty feet on top of the couch?
Well, on
the
top of
couch?
grandpa.
Oh, well, grandpa.
Ew, ew.
He goes, no. I said, okay, well, why'd you do it? Because he said it's okay. I said,
Hey, out of the mindset of a child.
right. So I had to give him this lesson. I said, okay, remember, just because it's okay doesn't mean you should. Do you
Yeah,
understand that?
Exactly.
And he goes, yes, mommy, I understand. Okay, how do you understand? And he goes, well, even if grandpa says it's okay, I could put my feet up, then I shouldn't, because my feet are dirty. I said, okay, there you go. That's exactly what I want you to learn.
One thing I want to kind of interject too. I think of my generation. I come from the generation of the baby boomers. And a lot of what we're seeing, I apologize for my generation. We were wild and crazy because we could be. We got
Oh, right,
rebellious. We were the
right.
rebellious group, trying all kind of different things. Things you knew your parent would kill you, but you knew that you do it so far away from home they couldn't find it. But
Right.
when we talk about passing down to generations, the blessings that we learn, we didn't do that. If you think about it now, you see grandparents, which is sad to say. You see mothers and daughters and sons and fathers. They're partying at the same place.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
drinking the same thing.
Yeah, I've
You know
seen
what I
that.
mean?
Yeah.
Dad buys you a drink and they see what you do with girls and they want to, no, that was wrong. We didn't stand up like we should have. So I repent to the next generation, your generation and down. But the beautiful thing that I have seen, even with, they call them the Gen Z and what's the other one?
I don't know.
Okay, the
I stopped-
younger ones, the
I don't
20,
even know
20
what
year
gen
olds.
am I. What?
You're a Gen Z baby.
Gen Z?
Yeah. Oh, wait,
Gen
no, you're
X?
not. Yeah, you're
I
Gen X.
think I'm Gen X.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing being is that translation of respect kind of lost. We lost that voice. Like I would never, my mother, no way. I would never disrespect my mother ever. That's
Yeah.
why whatever the dirt that I did, I took my dirt to another city. I had my feet clean. Wait a minute, I had my feet clean by the time I got back home and put my feet on.
No, but don't you think it's like, I don't know, just to me, like, look at our relationship, right? So, you do give me some discipline
Oh yeah.
most of the time, but when you give it, it's like it's more relatable, right? Because you've been there, done that. So
Right.
it's not that you're just saying no, no, no,
Right.
but you're saying it's no because it's this.
Yes.
If you do
With
it,
an explanation,
yeah,
like
with
you
an
did your son.
explanation, yes.
Absolutely.
So I think yes, your generation may be a little bit wild, yeah, but
I
I
was.
think but I think there's also some goodness in that too,
Yeah.
because yeah, I think nothing is any I think there's nothing better than experience, like
Learned.
speaking out of
Yes.
experience, like
Yeah.
learned wisdom,
Right.
right?
Yeah. A lot of the
So
time, the social workers and stuff. So you think about outside of outside of yourself, like social
yes.
workers, ministers, um, even government. You think about politics. Don't just tell me out of a book and flip a page. Tell me your experience and what you experienced and how you came out of it. How you became better. I could write. Oh my God, I could do
Yeah.
an encyclopedia. As you know, when we talk.
Oh my gosh, you know that there's no more encyclopedias
I
anywhere.
know, isn't that scary?
I know how to read an encyclopedia. I
Yeah.
know how to research an encyclopedia. I don't know if the next
They
generation
don't.
knows.
How about they don't? How about the next generation? They don't know how to do cursive writing, and it's not a
Oh,
requirement.
yes, yes, yes,
They
yes,
can.
yes.
w- So instead of us really going forward, there's a lot of things that are going backwards. In your home, if you can hear me, teach your children how to do cursive writing. Otherwise, you're going back, way back, almost to slavery. My generation, I'll use that with an X. Excuse me.
I can tell you, it's just this time right now, this generation right now, everybody is so into instant gratification, right? Yes, instant gratification, instant answers,
Yes.
instant everything. Like Google, what is this?
Right.
Alexa, what is this? Right? And that you just lose that. I don't know what the word is, but I used to when I was in school, that I used to open up a dictionary if I need to
Yes.
know what what this means, what
Right,
this
right.
word means. I will open a dictionary. If there's a project in science, I will go to the library and I'll check out books.
Yes.
Which I know libraries still do that. I know some people still do that.
Yeah.
But and even though I just wish like, and would be my advice for the day for everyone and parents or
Yes.
whoever, that I think if you can make every effort to preserve what was before, like how we gain, how
Testament.
do we
Yeah.
gain knowledge before,
You don't
like
have it to
Yeah.
And
and so that way this next generation is not so super dependent on
Technology.
technology, because technology, what if the power goes out? That's what I always
oh
say.
my God, they'll lose their mind. They would lose. You want me to
Exactly.
make you laugh?
What?
Okay. I went to In-N-Out Burger.
Yes.
Okay, I love In-N-Out. And I guess I shouldn't have done that, but
Yeah.
anyway. Okay, so the amount was
Mm-hmm.
$13.64.
Okay.
I gave the guy $13.64.
Okay.
How about he gave me $2 and a quarter and a penny?
Okay. What?
I was stuck on stupid there for a minute. And I
Yeah.
could have been not have the Christian thought. It's like, oh God, thank you for the blessing. But I didn't. I said, this is a time for lessons learned, to teach this person a lesson. I don't care how long the line is. I said, honey, I gave you the exact change and you gave me $2 back. So that means that your drawer is going to be short at
Yes.
the end of the day.
Yes.
He said, what do you mean? I said, I gave you the $13 and the change.
Yeah.
Exact. You gave me, and I opened my hand and I opened the $2 up and I put them side by side. You gave me $2 bills and you gave me a quarter and a penny. A quarter and a penny. Oh, wait a minute. A quarter penny and no, it wasn't even a quarter. It was a nickel and a penny.
Yeah.
So that showed me that he didn't know what a quarter looked like.
Oh my gosh.
He really didn't recognize the nickel. How about the $2 bills? So I said, so what? No, first I asked him, I
Yeah.
said, what did I give you? He said, you gave me $15 and you gave me $16. I said, what about the coins I gave you? He said, oh, yeah. I said, first of all, I didn't give you 15. I gave you the exact 13. So your drawer is going to be short. So my reason for using that is because they're so technologically wise that they're mind dead
They
on
don't,
doing just the
yeah,
regular.
they don't use
Even
their
though they
brain
put it in and they
anymore.
check. If you
Mm-hmm.
look at how the register is now,
Mm-hmm.
remember we had to count. We had to
Mm-hmm.
count the change in our
Right,
head
right, right,
before you give it and count it back to
right.
the client.
Yeah.
Well, they don't even have to do that. They punch the button,
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm
even though
gonna
he punched the
say.
button, he didn't put the right amount of money in the button. So usually, if you think about this, so he should have
Right.
gone back and said, "Hey Siri,
Mm-hmm.
oh, cancel. See, I have to cancel it
Yeah.
because if they just say that hey whatever, she's like she's
Mm-hmm.
gonna tell him." So with us doing that, let's go
I gotta
back to
tell you. No, I
no
gotta
no
tell you
no.
one. I gotta tell you this movie that I saw. So, I saw a movie. It's a kids movie. It's called Aliens in the Attic.
Right.
Right. So
Okay.
the story is that these aliens, these little aliens, landed on this house, and they were living in the attic, and their goal is to invade the brains of adults, right?
Oh boy.
So these kids,
Oh, I know that
you know,
cartoon.
these kids discovered that they were there, right? So they try to shoot them with the little adapter thing that to go on the back of their neck so they can be controlled, but they're kids, so they couldn't be controlled, right? So they ran away from them, and so they went downstairs, and they wanted to call the police, right? So the oldest kid goes, "We gotta call 911. We gotta call the police." He goes, "But we don't have our phones," because they had their cell phones, right? So then they look, like the camera
Yeah.
zooms into this rotary phone, this thing that goes like this, and he goes, there's a phone," like that. So then he picked them up, right? And then there's a dial tone. He goes, "Okay, we can call." And they were all three of them were just staring at this phone. He's like, "How do you make it work?" So then the oldest guy goes, "No, you got to put your finger in that one number, and then you got to dial it."
Right.
And so when they did that, it was like going down. It was like, it's so slow. I can't call.
Right.
So
That's true.
I know, but you think about it, like that's what I grew up with. With the rotary
Yes.
phone,
Well,
the
you know I
public
did.
phones, and then it turned into the buttons and things like that. And even just using a DVD player, I don't think my son knows what a DVD player
Please
is.
teach him.
I know, but they don't exist anymore. I mean, my parents has them,
Yeah,
and I
I
think
have one
it's
too
yeah.
still.
So, but they don't exist anymore. So that's what
Right.
I'm saying. So I think it's part of our obligation too. Like now, we're going through this change. We're getting, like the word change again.
Yes.
We need to focus our minds into not just preserving, but to continue the life
Yes.
for the next generation.
Yeah.
That they don't grow up to be not utilizing their brain.
Yeah, they're only using like the top half or the frontal. They don't have nothing to do with the back or the sides that have a lot to do with your period.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking about too? Well, we're having a good show today. This is funny. The other thing I was thinking about too, when you were talking about the telephone thing. and
Yes.
all- do you have a landline in your home?
Not anymore. Do you?
Yes, I do. And the reason that I do
Uh-huh.
is you remember when the electricity went out
Yes.
recently?
Yes. Nobody has a phone.
If your phone is not charged, you're all jacked up.
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when okay, we'll talk about when all the technology went down and everybody was stuck at the airport here in Vegas and all around the world.
That was a crazy
This was
day.
a world thing.
That was a
when
crazy
it shut
day.
down. Okay, everything shut down, but my rotary phone.
Right? But then who are you going to call?
Right. No, well,
Somebody
no.
else that has a
You can-
rotary
if you have an emergency, you really
right.
can still call the police.
Oh, still true. Still true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the whole thing being is this whole thing here it's made them smarter,
Mm-hmm.
but dumber.
Yeah.
They've actually I think it's technologically smart. This is the old saying that we used to say too. Being able to be, what is it? How does it go? Oh gosh, now I'm trying to think of how it goes because I don't want to say it wrong. But anyway, being able to do things like being able to use a phone.
Yeah.
Like you have to help me sometime with the computer
The
stuff.
computer,
Because I'm like, I want to know, but sometimes I don't want to know
Mm-hmm.
because I want to be able to go back to the thesaurus, go back to the dictionary,
Mm-hmm.
go and look at the encyclopedia. If you can
Right.
find them, anybody, whatever.
Or maybe just take your kids to the library.
Yeah.
Let
Take
them feel books, not
Yeah.
just the tablet. Just
And
the
don't
iPad.
send them.
don't send it. Yeah, you
You
do
go
go.
upstairs, and then they go upstairs and find a computer.
Yeah.
But yeah, take them.
Yeah.
And in the summer, just so everybody knows, I know here in Vegas we do it. The library really offers like the day that they go to the library. Every day they can go, and they have like a scavenger
Yes.
hunt. They have to go find the books. They got to read the paper and find out where to go on the scavenger hunt. They even have it where they have to look in the ceiling. I thought that was so awesome. I was running around with the kids having more
Yeah.
more
Yeah,
fun with
it's
them.
always fun. Yeah.
Yeah, make them lay on
Libraries
their
are
back
fun.
and look up. Oh, there it's up there. Lay on your back and read it.
Yeah.
Don't ask the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we
Hilarious.
have it. So it's because we're so busy, and a lot of us work multiple jobs too. And like I myself is guilty, like it's so easy to just hand them an iPad, right? But then, it's not really the best thing you can do for them.
Yeah.
Like growing up, we used to be outside playing.
I'm from
and
Vegas,
yeah,
100,
I know.
106, and we were out there all.
And then so, like now I'm just thinking about it, and I don't know, but I don't know. I'm just thinking about all these things that I just appreciate how I was raised.
Yeah.
Like just the little things that my grandparents taught me how to do,
Yeah.
because now before I'm not able, I don't care about using them, but now I'm able to use them. Like, man, if ever everything has to shut down, I know how to make rice in a pot
Yeah.
without a rice cooker. I know
Exactly.
how to warm up my food without using a microwave.
Right.
Like little things like that.
And even if the electric's not working, you put it on the grill. Put everything on the grill.
know. Because it's like when we went home to the Philippines, I took my son there for the first time, right? And we were living in my uncle's house. He does not have a microwave.
Good.
Does not have a microwave. And he leaves the food on the dining table. So if you want to eat, like you're hungry after lunch and you want a snack, it's on the dining table, but it's room temperature, right? So then my son's like, Mom, I want to eat, but there's no microwave. How do I warm it? So
That's funny.
you
Yeah,
know,
right?
things like that. If I was not raised by my grandparents to know what to do, I'd probably be like, you're right. Maybe we'll just eat it cold.
Or room temperature is
room
not even
temperature,
cold.
yeah. But we
Right.
have a stove, we have a stove, we have a pan, you can warm it up in the pan and,
Yeah.
things like that. And my, they would also make food that you don't have to warm up,
Oh, yeah.
So those things like that. So just,
I feel like your kid then, because remember you gave me something. It's this little white thing.
I gave you a shop out.
And you just gave it to me. You didn't tell me what to do. So
Oh,
I
I
got it. You said, only thing you did, you said, put it in the refrigerator. That's all you
Yes.
told me.
Yes.
So I called you a couple of days. I was like, it's been 5 days. What do I do with this thing? And you said, oh, you can still eat it. And I was like, what is it though I'm eating? And you said, oh, there's meat inside and it's whatever. I said, but it's been 5 days. And you said, no, you can still eat it. Just warm it up and put it in a napkin. And I looked at that thing and I was like, I'm scared. And I was scared because of what's
Scared to eat
inside of
it?
it. I ate some of it. I did not like it because it was 5 days.
Right.
I kept having the 5-day in my head. So I
Oh,
opened
man.
it up.
Yeah.
And I looked at it, but you didn't tell me. So you left again without someone teaching us the way we should go. Just that's biblical again. Train your children the way they should go. I was a child that time. I got to be the kid,
Right,
and you were
right,
the
yeah.
adult.
Yeah.
But you didn't give me good instructions.
Right. We're talking about instruction. I was telling you about the verse of the day today, remember? So when we're almost at the end of our episode. But the verse for the day is in Joshua. I was telling you about what God was telling him. Know, understand, and this is my own words, okay? I'm just paraphrasing. Like, know and understand this book of law. So what he's talking about is the Bible, right? And meditate on it day and night.
Yes.
Because once you've done that, that's the time when you become prosperous or you become successful. So like that's the instruction. So I believe the Bible is the book of life, like the instructions on how to live your life. So if there's a takeaway for this episode today is, please guys, if you're a believer or you're curious and you want to believe, you want to know about God, the first step really is to just, read the Bible and see what God has to say about living your life. Everything's in there. Everything's there for like finances. You want to be good in your finance, the Bible will have that. You want to be encouraged, they God has something to say about that. You know, anything you could think of, it's in that book.
Instruction.
It's instructions. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
know the
And
instructions of life
recipes.
and recipe.
Recipe of life.
And I like the one, so that was I think that was verse 8, but the verses before that, because God chose Joshua to take over after Moses died
Right.
for these people, and he kept saying, do not be afraid and be courageous.
Yeah.
Be courageous, not be afraid, because I am with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
So this week, anything happens to you, you feel like, off, like some of us sometimes feel like me. Sometimes I feel off. Like you just sit down and pause and just take a deep breath, just like we did before we started this
Exactly.
episode, and just reach out to God and just take a deep breath and just remind yourself, He said, "Don't be afraid, for I am with you."
Yeah.
Just hang on to that belief, and we will be fine.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, any parting words, Ma? After we,
I'd like
yeah.
one parting word.
Yeah.
And it's not even a word. I'd like everybody out there, first of all, even us, inhale
Yes.
and then exhale.
Yeah.
If you can wake up in the morning, inhale and exhale, you're all good.
You're all good. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you wake up in the morning, that's actually good right there. 'Cause
Yeah. So grab the inhale first
like, whoa, yes, yes, I'm still up. I'm still up.
and
So,
find the
yeah,
joy.
Find the joy in the morning. Yes. So, of course, this is the end of our show.
Yeah.
And it has been a great experience again.
It's been fun to be able
Yes,
to laugh and
absolutely.
everything. Yes.
And
Laughter's good.
feels good to be able to share some good insights, some revelations, some messages through this podcast with you. So we hope that we have inspired you and made your day better. We will have a new episode every week again, of course, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Just type The Good Side Wins. And remember, an act of goodwill is always rewarded. A good gesture is always appreciated. This is your host. I'm Leizel.
And I'm Suzy, Mama Suzy.
Yes, Mama Suzy. Wishing you a great week ahead. God
Yes.
bless you, and join us again on The Good Side.
Yes.